Okay, we're live on Periscope. Let me go live on Facebook Live, and let's make sure we actually are live this time. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's hope that we're actually live on Facebook Live. The countdown's going on. This is going on. Hi guys, it's Rosemary. How are you today? Hopefully yesterday, hey! Hi Megan, you're so cute. Hopefully you guys weren't too overwhelmed yesterday. There was a lot of information, and today is going to be no different. Yay, so glad you guys are here. Yay, Allie's here. Everybody's here. So happy that you are. We're going to go over a lot of stuff today. Yesterday, when you guys were asking questions during the intensive on Periscope, I made sure to go through and rewatch it and grab everyone's questions. So if you want to ask questions, even if I don't answer them, feel free to do so, and then I will take those questions and answer them then on the Facebook group. So we're going to go through really quick today because I just want to make sure that we get all this information out and we're not here forever. And I don't know if you guys saw this or follow Jasmine Star, but she's having a free class on Creative Live today that I really want to catch. So we'll go through all of this Instagram stuff, and hopefully we can all go over to Creative Live afterwards and watch her class. So that would be really fun if you guys are all there too. Okay, so today we're going over content strategy. Yesterday we talked about, oh, and thank you for sharing. Yes, thank you for the hearts. Thank you for sharing. If anyone else feels like this would give your audience value, please feel free to share it on your pages. On Twitter, on Periscope, on Facebook, anywhere you think that people might get value from it. So we talked yesterday a lot about doing the research before you start doing your strategy, because we want to know where we're going and where we've been before we start creating a map to go on this journey. And from that, we're going to take all of that research that we did, and we're going to take our Instagram strategy guide and fill it out. So if you guys don't have this, it's free on my website. I just made some website changes, so hopefully it works for you. Oh my gosh, if it doesn't, I feel bad. But it's on my blog, and it's a free Instagram planning guide. I think I posted it about a year ago, maybe like in April of last year. It's totally free. You just download it. I shared an Instagram live, and oh yay, and I see that somebody's first day on Periscope. Yay, so glad that you're here, and glad that you just dived in. On Instagram Live, I showed how I use this. I'm going to show you guys today with paper and pencil and my clipboard, my handy dandy cute pencil and clipboard, because normally most people just have this, but I use this actually on my iPad Pro with my Apple Pencil, and it is a lifesaver. So for me, yay, hi, how are you doing? For me, I am a list taker and a list maker and a note taker. I've got Post-its, like I've got entire like 3-ring binders filled with Post-it notes. I've got so many binders, so many spiral notebooks, because I just like writing things down. That's how I get my information out. It is the best thing ever, right, Allie? Like, it is changing my life, because instead of having folders and folders and folders, I now just have everything in my iPad Pro. So if anyone ever wanted a testimonial about that, it is the best thing that ever happened to me. It is so nice to have. And I do all of my like writing now in my iPad Pro in the Adobe Sketch app. But like I said, right now, you guys can still use these templates that I have on my blog for free. You can just print them out and just stick them on a clipboard like this and get a paper and pencil. So when we're doing our content strategy, I like to just follow the guidelines that I've created on here that you can see. And a lot of it's going to be based, this first page, on the research that we did yesterday. So all the questions that we asked ourselves yesterday during the research part of it, we're going to just fill it out here and kind of make it more concise and make it more digestible on our feeds, because it's really easy to go and then, you know, do all the research, but then you're like, okay, how do I transfer all of this information into my Facebook feed or my Instagram feed, right? You actually have to have this translate into something visual and have it work for you. So I like to go through, and the very first part in the corner is goals for the month. So when we talked about where we're trying to go at the very end of our research, we're going to start there when we're creating our content strategy. So whatever you decided to do, if you decided to do, you want to grow your following to 5K, or you want to grow your email list from Instagram to 1,000, or you're trying to boost your engagement to 2% per post, whatever it is that you're trying to do, write these goals in here for the month and make sure they're very precise, make sure there's a number value associated with it, and make sure there's like a deadline to all of those things. Maybe your goal for the month might be you want to do a partnership, or you want to do a giveaway, or you know, you want to post, you want to make sure you're posting every single day consistently. Maybe that's a big goal for you. So something that's very tangible. And then the next thing over, actually right underneath, is defining your brand. This is where we are going to list our adjectives that we talked about yesterday. And that way, this is going to be provide you almost like the bones of all of your copy. So let's just say I think one of my, last year what I decided my words were going to be were polished and professional. I want business owners to look polished and professional online. So because I wrote down those words, I made sure I used those adjectives in a lot of my copy when I wrote posts, and I made sure that I put it in my Instagram bio, because that's what I want to be known for, someone that makes people look polished and professional. So when you write down your adjectives, you can make sure you plug those words in, almost like Mad Libs. Remember that, like, you know, fun little thing that you used to do as a kid? You just plug in those words whenever you don't know what to say. You think about it. How can I write about something that's making people feel polished and professional? Because I want to just start drilling those words into people's minds over and over and over consistently. So list your brand adjectives there. Next part over here is writing down ideal client avatars. So it's basically people who you think would be dream clients for you. So for me, this is a kind of tricky one. It's hard, especially if you're not doing business to business. For me, it's easy because my ideal clients are business owners and they have business accounts on Instagram. So I can easily find, oh, I love Allie. Allie has a business. She is a social media manager. She'd be a great fit for me because I sell courses on social media. So I would write down a bunch of social media managers. I would write down their Instagram accounts so I can kind of follow along with them and see what they're doing. It's a little bit harder if you're a business to customer business model, so like, you know, B2C. So if you're a wedding photographer and you're like, oh, I need to write down my ideal client avatars here. This would be harder for you because it's kind of hard to just pull out of thin air brides, right? That's a little bit tricky. But what you can do here, if you're stuck filling this out, sorry, I got a text message that come up. Hopefully that didn't come up on your end. Find the Instagram account for one of your favorite clients. So if you have a current client that you just shot their wedding and you know they have a lot of friends and they'd be a perfect referral base for you, write their Instagram account down, and then you can start following them and finding out who their friends are and finding like accounts to them. So that's where we use, that's how we use this little corner of the Instagram planning guide. Right here underneath, why do people need your products and services? This again is going to go down and help you write your Instagram bio. It's also going to help you write your copy. So when we talked yesterday about doing the research, what is my industry? What is my niche or niche? And then why am I different? How am I unique? What's going to be some things that I'm going to bring to the table here that's going to set me apart from other people? Write those things down so you can kind of keep it top of mind when you're creating your content. And then at the very bottom, write your Instagram bio and call to action. You always want a call to action, ideally in every single post and also in your bio. You want to tell people what to do. As human beings, we do better with directions, right? So if you just tell people automatically, hey, I want you to do this. I want you to join my email list, right? Brooke, thank you for leaving that comment. Oh yeah, it's really hard to do business to clients. So that's, like I talked about before, finding your ideal client avatars. That's how you do it, is you just start finding your current clients that you have now, or maybe like a friend or family member that would be a good fit. But at the bottom for your Instagram bio and your call to action, so make sure if you want people to sign up for your email list in your Instagram bio, write that down and have that associated with the link underneath, because we only get one, right? We only get one hyperlink on Instagram. Hopefully the platform changes soon and we'll be able to actually put links in our posts, but for now, we get one shot at that. So make it count, right? So if we want people to visit our website, because I don't know, maybe you're targeting website traffic for Facebook ads, tell them to go to your website and put the link below. If you want people to opt into stuff, so for me, I change my bio all the time. Because I was having this Instagram intensive, I wanted people to sign up for this. So that's what I changed my bio to, my hyperlink to. And then in my bio, I said, click below to join our intensive, right? I actually give people directions on what I want them to do. So write this down, what your calls to action are going to be. Say you're selling something. Maybe you're a Mary Kay representative, or you sell that lip gloss. What is that called? Like glossy something. Lip sense. If you sell those things, write down, call me for a consultation. Or if you're local to Phoenix, we can meet up for this. Here's my number at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, give people things to do if you want the desired outcome. Give them the directions. And this is what we write at the very bottom. That's how you use this. And let me flip this over. On the second page of your Instagram guide, when we're creating our content strategy, I write down here, this is key. Let me show you right here. Accounts to connect with followers. I talk a lot about this and it's kind of confusing, so please bear with me. Hopefully we can kind of get this in our minds. We want to make sure on Instagram that we are connecting with the audience that is the best fit for us. So to start doing that, you can look at other businesses and see who their audiences are and if they would be a good fit for you. So for me, I know that Marie Forleo, she does this course every year called B School, and she basically trains women how to become entrepreneurs, how to start businesses up. Well, I can look at Marie Forleo and say, you know, her audience would be such a good fit for me because after they learn that they need to do all of these things, they need to actually then take the next step and do it. They're gonna need a website. They're gonna need styled stock photos. So you know what? Everyone that goes through Marie Forleo's program is probably a great fit for me. So I should be targeting Marie Forleo's following. Does that make sense? It's very confusing, but you wanna start targeting the people that follow other people with aligned businesses to yours. If you sell baby clothes, maybe you have an aligned audience with someone like Freshly Picked who sells baby moccasins. You don't sell the same thing, but they would have a great audience for your stuff. Good, I'm glad that was pretty clear. Hairstylists, you do hair. So maybe you would be a good fit to work with people that are in the beauty industry, other people, you know, maybe local estheticians, local waxers, local yoga instructors, local massage therapists, things like that. So people that have great fit audience for you. Especially people that are your competition, but you could have almost like an aligned up level to them. So maybe you work with another woman, or maybe in the same, you know, in the hair industry, they have those salon studios and there's a lot of different hairstylists in the building. Maybe you're the only one that offers extensions. Maybe everyone else does cuts and colors and they do a really great job, but they don't specialize in extensions and you do. Then go ahead and target these people, write them down and see who their followers are, because just because they go to someone else that's your competition doesn't mean that you can't specialize and help these people too. If you approach this in a way that you're trying to be of better service to these people and provide them with something even better and even more to enhance their experience, there's nothing wrong with that. So write down the accounts to connect with these followers. I don't want to steal Marie Forleo's audience. I don't want to take them away from her and have them not go to her and go to me instead. I just feel like I could provide them with something that will help them along their way after they've gone to her as a business. Does that make sense? It definitely is something that's a little sticky, but if you think about it that way, is you're providing extra value to these people that might need more help, then it's always coming from a great place. So just keep that in mind. Moving forward, and I write down the followers. This doesn't really matter that much, but for me, if I'm gonna target someone like Marie Forleo and I'm gonna know that she's got millions of followers, she's gonna be probably a little bit harder to get these people to connect with me. If there's somebody that has kind of the same follower count as I do, it's probably gonna be a little bit easier, especially if I wanted to reach out to these people and do partnerships with them. So maybe Marie Forleo won't ever return my email and say, hey, let's do a giveaway together, but maybe someone like Think Creative Collective would, because we have audiences that are at least close, within like 5,000 to 10,000 followers. So if I'm writing down that the people that go to Think Creative Collective and use their resources, they might be a good fit for me because I sell styled stock photos. I could reach out to them because I say, oh, look, I have almost the same number of followers as them or something close. Maybe they'd be open to doing some sort of a giveaway together or a partnership together, and we can work on that. So that's why I would write down followers if you're interested in doing stuff like that. At the bottom of that, hashtags my audience uses. Now this is basically to become more searchable. That's what hashtags are. They make you more searchable when people are looking through Instagram. So I want to be using hashtags that my ideal audience is looking for. So if they're looking for Instagram tips, I'm going to be using those hashtags and I'm going to write those down. If my ideal audience is looking for styled stock photos, they'll probably click the hashtag styled stock photos. So I want to use those hashtags. So I want to go ahead and list right here all of the potential hashtags I think that my ideal audience is searching for. Something that's a great pro tip for that is when you go to those hashtags on Instagram, you type that in hashtag, let's say hashtag community over competition. Now Instagram has where you can click the little arrow button next to it and it will tell you related hashtags. So just go ahead and list all of those. Maybe it's something that you never thought of, but you were like, oh, that variation makes sense. I didn't know Rising Tide had an Instagram challenge. Let me write down that hashtag. So if you're doing like hashtag farmhouse style, maybe like you're doing something that's farmhouse style, and then it pops up and it says Magnolia Market's a hashtag people search. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and include that. Even though my posts don't have anything to do with Magnolia Market, I'm still going to include that hashtag because it makes me more searchable to my ideal audience. Hopefully that makes sense. It's hard to show you when I'm not like on the thing, you know, I'm just like talking to you, but hopefully that made sense. So you can go ahead and list all your hashtags here and make sure you write down all the related hashtags that Instagram populates for you automatically. Right here, it's another hashtag section. So for me, I use this mostly, this little part right here, hashtags for content, when I have specific themes. So I know every Monday I share Hot Mess Monday. I'm gonna write that down. I know every Tuesday I share Instagram tips. So I'm gonna put Instagram tip Tuesday here. Maybe every Friday you're gonna commit to Friday introductions. You're gonna write that down there. Maybe you do shout out Saturdays or you do wall art Wednesdays, who knows. But write down all the things that you're gonna be using specifically for your own content here. For me, when I'm doing this Instagram intensive, I'm gonna be using hashtag IG Intensive 2017. I wanna make sure I write this down. So when I'm going through and creating my calendar, I make sure that I have those included. And right here, the best times to post. This is how I use, how I really figure out when I'm gonna be posting my stuff and scheduling it. And for this, I use Iconosquare. That is in my toolkit. So when you signed up for the Instagram Intensive at bit.ly/IG Intensive, if someone wants to pop that up, bit.ly/IG Intensive 2017. When you sign up there, you will get my toolkit and it gives you a link to Iconosquare. That's what I use to create these best times to post. If you do use Instagram for business, you do get the analytics there, but I feel like Iconosquare is more in depth. I like using them more than Instagram for business, but if you use Instagram for business, that's fine too. Just try to find out when the best times you should be posting here. Thank you for sharing that, Brooke. I really appreciate it. The reason I'm really passionate about doing that is if I'm gonna be doing all of this work, thank you, Allie. If I'm gonna be doing all this work, I wanna make sure I get the most bang for my buck. Right? I'm doing a ton of work. I wanna make sure the most eyes are on my post as possible. So I'm gonna write down when most of my audience is on Instagram. And I'm gonna try to schedule my posts around that. It does change. So I know every single month, every 2 to 3 weeks, I check Iconosquare and I will change around my posts because my analytics have changed. So make sure you check back on that often and you're not losing potential eyeballs on your stuff by not posting at the right times. And the very bottom, color palette and fonts. I'm a huge believer in staying brand consistent, making sure that your feed fits what your brand is trying to say. It should all tell an overarching story, right? Your posts individually are telling stories and those should be good on their own, but altogether when you look at your feed as a whole, that should be the overarching story, right? It's the overarching magazine. The posts themselves are the articles within that magazine. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure they're all cohesive and they're all following a similar color palette, and we're using, please only use like 3 fonts on your posts, okay? We don't want to get font crazy. Unless you're like a font designer, then you can use whatever you want. But for the most part, if you're just a business owner and you just love things looking pretty, just try to stay clean as possible because that's going to cause a lot of like confusion and disruption. Make sure you choose maybe max 3 fonts and choose, up to 6 colors and try to stick around that as much as you can. So that's the first 2 pages of my Instagram planning guide. If you guys will download that, you'll see that and you can make changes and write in all of that stuff. And then it comes to the last page of it. It's the Instagram editorial calendar. And this is what I write down. This is what I showed on Instagram Live the other day. I go through and I color code my stuff. You have to choose your content breakdown. So how I do content breakdown is I saw this on Freshly Picked, a Facebook Live or a Periscope last year, and they do 20% promotion, 40% brand awareness, and then they do 40% UGC, which is user-generated content, which is basically like a testimonial, right? It's someone using their products and then sharing it, and then they take their photo and share it on their own feed. I don't have a lot of UGC, and I don't like how it clutters. For me, visually streamlined is key, so I don't do a lot of user-generated content. What I do instead, what my breakdown is 20% promotion, I do 40% brand awareness, and then I do 40% giving value. I try to give my audience on Instagram as much value as I possibly can week by week. So there's a lot of feeds out there that all they do is post pretty images, right? It's all just visual inspiration. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. But my brand, my business revolves around giving value to people, delivering information and having people consume it. That's my brand. Because that's my brand, I feel like I need to spend a lot of time giving value. Yes, thank you. Hopefully it is valuable to you guys. Giving on Instagram. So people feel like when I end up asking them for something, they're like, yeah, please, we've gotten so much from you. Yes, let me just buy that thing. That's the game plan, right? So only 20% promotion, which makes it easy. So I'm gonna write this down. So if I do 20% promotion, if I do 40% brand awareness, and I do 40% value, then that comes to 100%. You can change this up however you want. This month, I've actually changed this around. I did 20% promotion. I did 20% shout out and partnerships, because one of my big strategies this month is partnering up with people, creating like an affiliate mentality and really shouting out other people. So I did 20% shout outs. And then I did, I think, 40% value. And then I can't really do math, but the rest of it is brand awareness. And when I say brand awareness, let me clarify these. So promotional posts are things that you're selling, right? Talking about whatever your business is selling, whether that's products, whether that's services. I talk about that 20% of the time. If you're posting every day of the week, once a day, that's 7 posts a week. What is 20% of that? I don't know math, but I think it's 1 to 2 posts. Right? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So if you write that down, you say, okay, throughout this week, I know that I am only posting 7 times a week. So I need 2 posts throughout this week to be promotional. So I'm just gonna put it Tuesdays and Thursdays and try out that and see how it goes, right? That makes it really easy. I post 3 times a day, which means I go to 21 posts, right? 20% of 21 posts, that turns out to 4 to 5 posts. So I know that I need to spread out my promos more and talk about it more often. You don't want to go less than 20% because people still need to know that you're selling something, right? So write down the number of posts you're going to commit to every single week and then do this breakdown. I know I have to do 4 promos a week. That leaves spaces, 40%. I know I'm going to do, so if I'm doing 4 promo posts, I'm probably doing 8 brand awareness posts and 8 value posts, right? You get the sheet that I'm using on my blog. It's free. It's rosemarywatsonproductions.com/blog. It's an Instagram planning guide, so you can search that and find it. Totally free. You can download them, you can print them out, or you can put them on your iPad Pro like I do. 8 posts value-based, 8 posts brand awareness. So brand awareness for me, when I talk about brand awareness, you can do curated images that just kind of reflect your style and aesthetic. You can do things like selfies. So self-portraits would be rosemarywatsonproductions.com. If you go to rosemarywatson.com, that's an actor. She's like a voiceover actress in Hollywood. It's weird. I just literally tried to log into her website yesterday because I forgot my dash, and I was like, oh, that's not my site. That's some actress. But yeah, no, rosemarywatsonproductions.com. On my blog, you can find it there. Also, if you're in the Facebook group, you have the same problem. I know it's kind of hard when you have like a kind of common name. I guess my name's not super common, but somebody has it. In the Facebook group, I put a link to this also. So if you're in the group, it'll make it easy for you to find. Hi, Vicki. So glad that you're here. So you can find that there. So now all I need to do is fill in my brand awareness post. I know I want to show up in my feed. I always recommend this. Show up in your feed at least once every 9 images. So if you're posting every day, that is 7 posts a week. So that means like every week, week and a half, you have to put a self-portrait on here. That's not that many. If I'm posting 21, that comes out to what, like 2 or 3 selfie images a week. And I have to make sure I commit to that and post those on there. That's what I would recommend. So brand awareness could be just curated images of your style. For me, I do like Hot Mess Monday. I feel like that's brand awareness because it's not necessarily giving value. People aren't like learning something from Hot Mess Monday. It's just showing a personal side of myself and of my brand. I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, my life is hectic, and that's what I share. So I consider that a brand awareness post. Cocktail Fridays, my happy hour Fridays, that's a brand awareness post because it's just giving you an aesthetic and a feel about my brand, my business, and who I am as a person. Value-based posts are just that, things that people will learn from, things that give people value. I'm not saying that aesthetics doesn't give people value. Posting pretty pictures, it gives people value, but not in the same way as like, here's something actionable that you can take and then make a change in your life with. Does that make sense? So I try to give value. If you want to do a breakdown instead of doing this, you can do like testimonials, or you can do user-generated content. If you are somebody that other people post about your products, you can use that. You can add that to your breakdown. You can do like what I'm doing and do shout outs. You can put that in there. One thing I always start with this, I forgot to mention, is if there's any special events, I will schedule those things first. So for me, the Instagram Intensive, this is something that's not normal for me. I don't just do this every single month. It's something a little bit out of the ordinary, and it's something that I'm gonna be talking about on Instagram. So I penciled those in first and then filled in content around it. Does that make sense? So if you're gonna be doing something like a Black Friday sale, write this down. If you're gonna be doing some, like a challenge, like an Instagram challenge, the Savvy challenge that I'm doing this week, I wrote that in right when I found out about it because I wanna make sure I get those done first. So if you're gonna be posting something for, like Donut Day, National Donut Day, National Ice Cream Day, Christmas, Valentine's, the Victoria's Secret Fashion Show, all of the things that you know are like celebration type things or industry standards, like I talked about yesterday when we said to research your industry. If you're a fashion blogger and you know you're gonna be talking about Fashion Week, write those down first. Then go in and fill out your breakdown. So does that make sense? Hopefully, this is a lot of confusing things, but hopefully it made kind of some sense to you. And so once you do this breakdown too, it makes things seem so manageable, right? Once you have your whole month filled out and you're like, oh, all I need to do is take 1 selfie a week. That's 4 selfies. That means today I can pick out 4 different shirts. I can have a ponytail, a top knot bun, my hair can be down and curly twice, and then I could just shoot all that in one day. I could just take my selfie stick or have my husband take 4 pictures of me, and then boom. I do not take the photos of myself. So it's very rare that I take my own selfies. My sister's also a photographer. She went to school for it. And so luckily I have like a live-in photographer almost. And so no, I do not take my own. I have tried that and it's okay, like it works out okay, but always the one she takes of me is better. So if you have a photographer friend, it's way better to hook up with them and figure it out. And like seriously, photographers, we are barterers by nature. Honestly, like I feel like there's so many photographers out there that just want work for their portfolio or would love to feature people and say, I worked with this person. If you're a business owner, reach out to these people and ask them either what their rates are and see if you can like barter with them and talk them down and like come to a negotiation, or if you can figure out something in trade. Literally, I like built my business off of trade and referrals and things like that. So yay, I'm so glad that this is your first time. Welcome, so glad that you joined us. So yes, investing in good photos of yourself. If you only have just one really solid photo of yourself and that's what you use on your bio, do that. But please make sure you are getting good photos of yourself and you're showing up in your feed. Barter your hair services for social media management. Yep, I'm telling you, that's my hairstylist, that I like run her brand and she does my hair. Will never leave her. I will never leave her. I will never charge her for anything. I love her. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. It is like worth its weight in gold, absolutely. So I would recommend that, trying to hook up with some photographers. And then obviously for things like brand awareness, you can use styled stock. You can use curated images that you find on other people's feeds. You can try to take your own styled images. All of those things work. All of them make sense. Should the photos be professional or just selfies? The photo on your bio, I believe that you should have that professional. At least that one image, please make that look good because it is like you have less than a second to make a good first impression. Before someone even clicks over to your feed, they see your bio photo. So please make sure that is the best photo you can possibly put of yourself on there. And I prefer to put images of myself, of like people in your bio. The ones that you have just kind of throughout your feed, you can totally do those self-portraits. Like just go outside. Go outside, don't go in covered shade so you're not in direct sunlight. And just take some photos of yourself. It doesn't even have to be all of your face. You can do some of just like the lower part of your face holding a cup. Just start stalking people that take photos of themselves a lot and see all the different ways you can take images of yourself. Just start showing up in your feed. Every 9 grid, I should see you. Every time. Because remember, the whole point of business now is doing business with people, not brands. Yay, I'm so glad that that kind of resonated with you. Hopefully it did. But yeah, it makes it much more manageable, right? If you know every 9 images, you have to take a selfie and you're only posting once a week, that's just 4 selfies, right? If you need to have 4 promotional images, you know you're gonna be talking about your product 4 times in a month, schedule those out first. Yeah, it's super awkward. This is the most awkward thing ever, but you gotta do it, right? Just do it. Just put those pictures up of yourself and people will respond to them. Honestly, the images on Instagram that I get the most engagement on are the images of myself. It's like Friday introductions. Every time I get the most engagement. Second most engagement are my Hot Mess Mondays. It's like a peek into my real life. People freaking eat it up. So just start showing up, being real, being authentic, and showing your personality, and people will start responding to that, I promise you. But this is just a really easy way to get started and get organized and really just map out. This doesn't have to be perfect. I make changes to mine all the time. I shared on Instagram Live when I was filling mine out on my iPad Pro. I say, okay, when we'll talk about this on day, I think it's 4. We talk about scheduling your content. I always schedule my visuals first, right? I collect my visuals and then I schedule them all up, and then I don't write the post captions or copy until after they're all scheduled so I can see them visually. Schedule for the product 1 per month or serial per month. I'm not really sure what you mean. So for me, I always repeat this. Promotional images, promotional posts about what you sell, 20%. I probably wouldn't go over that. I probably wouldn't go under that. I would try out 20 and see how it responds, like how your audience responds to it. 20%. So if you are posting once a day, that's 7 posts in a week. What is 20% of that? I'm pretty sure it's 1 to 2 posts. Okay, I'm not sure with math, but I think that's what it is. If I'm posting 3 times a day, I have 21 posts per week, which means I have 4 to 5 places I need to be talking about what I sell every single week. Does that make sense? And you can do this per month, but it's easy for me for weeks. So if you're doing twice a day posting and you're like, every day I'm posting twice, that's 14 posts every single week. What is 20% of that? I think like 3 to 4 or something like that. So just write those in first. Yeah, absolutely make sure you're adding this in. If you don't talk about what you sell, no one's going to know that you sell it, and no one will probably buy it. Yeah? The whole point of using Instagram for business is to make money. So we have to tell people that we want them to buy these things. But make sure in the meantime, we're filling in with other things. We're giving people value. We're making sure they know who we are as a person and as a business because we're using brand awareness posts. I do shout outs. We're talking about other people that have aligned businesses as we do. The more I shout out about Heather Crabtree, the more that her audience is probably going to notice me talking. Does that make sense? The more I talk about Danny Fountain, because we sell a course together, the more her audience is going to know I exist, right? Because Danny's going to notice it. She's going to heart it or like it or retweet it or whatever she's going to do. And then her audience is going to say, oh, this girl knows all about Danny and I love Danny, so let me find out about her. Right? The shouting out is in your best interest, right? And it's obviously in their best interest. So you got to be a friend to make a friend, and that's what we're doing here. UNUM is pretty good for planning out your visual feed for Instagram. Yeah, there's a lot of different things. So I use Scrum when I'm starting to plan this out, and again, we'll talk about this more in the scheduling. I know Planner, Planner. That is a great one for planning out your visual feed. And there's another one. UNUM you said is really good. I'll have to look up that. But yes, during the scheduling part, I'm going to show you more how I do this. But this is just kind of like the writing out, figuring out your strategy ahead of time. And yes, Planoly, that's another great one. That's awesome. But yeah, for me, I have to have this written out first before I start actually putting visuals in, because I want to start searching for these images, right? Before I can start scheduling images of myself, I need to know how many that I need, right? If I'm going to start scheduling before I schedule all of my promo images about what I sell, like for my Style Stock subscription, I need to know where I'm going to put them and how many I need. Every single Monday, I do a mood board Monday. I shout out some other designer on Instagram and I share a mood board. And for me, that sets my color palette for the whole week, which is awesome. If you're gonna stick to one small color palette, it's gonna be easier for you to visually kind of plan these out in your mind. But for me, I'm like, okay, I know I need, the very first thing that I schedule is my mood board Mondays. And my phone died, was asking, are you planning for 1 product a month or several a month? Okay, so we talked about this yesterday a little bit. It's going to be simpler for you to focus on 1 product a month, but you don't have to. I try to do that, but I sell a lot of different things. So I sell services, I sell products, I sell why am I blanking? Oh, a membership site, my stock brand subscription membership. So I'm selling a lot of different things, so I kind of bounce it around. I will spread it out and test this. You know, maybe if you're like, okay, this is overwhelming, I'm gonna start with one thing. The one thing that you sell most of, your bread and butter, talk about that first. And then after a month, you're like, oh, I got the hang of this. I'm totally going to start adding in my other thing, my secondary product that I sell. Is this a class you're having? Yeah, it's a live video series. So if you're new and you just popped in, this is the Instagram Intensive. This is a live 10-day video series that you can sign up for at bit.ly/IGintensive2017. You can sign up for free, you can get a toolkit, and you will get links to all this information that's going to be shared in our Facebook group. So that is, I kind of forgot what I was just talking about. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But hopefully this makes sense to you. You're writing down all of your content beforehand, so then you can start searching for the images and creating the images that you need to start scheduling. Yes? Okay, I think that's all I had to go over. Grab this planner. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. This is just the way I do this to get started. The breakdown's in my head, I know what I need to share, and I'm approaching it with a game plan. I'm not just waking up and saying, what am I gonna post today? It's like, nope, I know. I need to talk about my products this many times this week. I need to show up twice. Okay, Allie, go in the Facebook group if you guys can't find the planner. I changed my whole freaking website theme last night. I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff, so hope my website might be like not working perfectly. So yes, let's go to my Facebook group, the Instagram Collaborative. If you guys wanna, someone type that in. You can find a link to this there. I'll link it again for the second time. Oh, my cardigan's falling off. It's getting so heated. Yes, you can fill all that in. Again, you don't have to use this, but it just makes it easier to think about these things ahead of time and not just wake up and guess what you're posting, right? All right, the name of the Facebook group is the Instagram Collaborative. Thank you, Brooke. That is perfect. And you can find the links to these there. We're also going to be doing Q&A in there. So if you guys do have questions, I will address them later today in the Facebook group. I've got a few more from yesterday that I'm going to be talking about in there. And if you have any other questions about this, you can email me at info@rosemary-watson.com. Thank you. Thanks so much for being here. And yes, feel free to share this if this gave you value. I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to talk about creating your connection strategy. The most important part, and the part no one does, and it's the most important. I will see you guys here tomorrow.